but at the same time, it also comes from our clothes, where we actually have our polyesters, right, which are from non-biodegradable polymers, which are made or which are becoming blends in order to produce textiles or clothes, okay? And it is actually coming from there. These non-degradable micro and nanoplastics are being hazardous to the environment. So that is the reason why we are actually looking for a sustainable fashion.
Miss, one problem which I find is the detergent. Is it for, I've seen the soap bars which are made from the natural materials, but detergent mostly I see from these companies like Unilever and all this, they make it from harsh chemicals. Is it possible to do some research to produce from the waste a bio detergent from the waste, not from the real materials?
Yes, I think there are many rooms of to actually they are actually you call it the research gap. There as you have highlighted, there are many industries which are actually in need of this kind of chemicals which are not harsh to the environment, which are environmental friendly, right? So we are actually moving into a sustainable development, whereby we are moving into looking at a sustainable environment as well. So in that pretext, we can actually look for substitute for all these harsh toxic chemicals, which is harsh to the environment, hazardous to the environment as well. It's just like now we are looking at materials from agro waste in order to even for our clothes, for our fashions. That is also doable. Okay, there can be research carried out on that as well. Okay. Now coming back to our biotextiles from agro waste. Okay, it's not only the fibers, but we also have agricultural waste turned into green fibers. If you look at it here, you have from bananas, rice husks, pineapples. Okay, you have this in Amsterdam. It is known as Banana Tex. It's a company. And here in Malaysia, there is a company which is known as Grains Right. Okay, the sugarcane baggers just now that I mentioned, okay, the juice is consumed, whereas the sugarcane baggers is actually changed into in a form of shoe. If you can see here, from this to this. Okay, so this is actually made up, the sole is made up of rubber. The rest of the part of the shoes are actually made up of sugarcane baggers or waste from the sugarcane. So in future, probably you can have different fruit peels turned into a different kind of clothing, different kind of fashion materials, you see. So in the biotextiles, which comes under biotextiles. So all this, before this, all these are unimaginable to us. But as you see, as we are moving into sustainable development, we can see more and more this kind of agricultural waste being used or being channeled into something of a value-added products. Okay. So now, there is also another project that I actually carry out here in UMT together with a few other of my colleagues. This is known as mushroom cultivation from agro waste. Okay. Okay, for this mushroom cultivation, it is more of we have actually researched on how we are actually using the waste, okay, the waste, agricultural waste. Here we actually use sawdust. Okay, there are also researchers on using spent coffee grounds as well. But here it's mainly on the sawdust, where we actually turn this sawdust, we actually culture them with the inoculum from the mushroom, and later we actually grow this mushroom. This is known as oyster mushroom. Okay, these are edible oyster mushroom. It is a very high source of protein as well. So it is widely consumed, okay, in many places. Okay, I'm sure many of you have actually tasted this mushroom. Okay, we have many dishes out from these mushrooms as well. And here, what we have done is actually, it's not only just as a research in a lab scale, but this mushroom cultivation has been brought out to the community, whereby the blocks is normally supplied, and the community, okay, will actually use these blocks to actually cultivate or produce their own mushrooms. And these mushrooms are actually sold to the shops nearby for their own consumption. And during the pandemic, this was a very helpful thing to generate more income, especially those who actually lost their jobs, who are having problems who are having problems getting jobs during the pandemic. So this project was really helpful in generating an income for them. So this is another way where you can actually generate income out of your agricultural waste. And here we actually in our university, this is a community project which has been widely recognized. We've got recognition from the Ministry of Education of Malaysia as well, and we have brought it down back to community. We are looking at orphanages right now, but here in UMT itself, we have our mushroom house where we actually convert all these agro waste into cultivating this mushroom. Okay, and those who are involved in this project, they were able to actually get a very high income out of this mushroom cultivation as well. So this is a typical example of how waste has been converted to wealth, because they are able to generate a lot of income because this mushroom cultivation, within 7 days, you can see mushrooms growing. Okay, and it is like every 1 week you can see mushrooms growing in these blocks. And at the same time, it is fast, easy to take care, and at the same time, it is of demand. Mushroom is of demand. Okay, so you can come up with a lot of products out of mushroom. So this is another project that we have carried out here in UMT, from waste, agro waste, to wealth, waste to wealth kind of a concept. Okay, another research work that I carry out in our lab, okay, with our research team, is actually the production of silver nanoparticles from agro-industry waste. Here, we try to produce antimicrobial nanoparticles with antimicrobial properties. So the agro-industry waste are normally from fruit peels. We have orange peel, we have tried from orange peel, onion peel, watermelon peel. These are all dried and grind. Pineapple peel, and also the chickpea husk. Okay, chickpea husk in certain countries, it is also as used as an animal feed because it's a source of protein. At the same time, the husk, okay, can also be converted into something which is really useful, which is the silver nanoparticles, which contains the antimicrobial properties. So this is basically the brief procedures or method to produce the silver nanoparticles. There are many other pills or agricultural waste that you can actually try on to produce the silver nanoparticles and carry out the antimicrobial assay. And you will be surprised with the components inside this waste which can actually give out their antimicrobial properties. And we have actually come out with managed to use the nanoparticles generated from the pineapple peel. Okay, the we have copyrighted this Phytogerm Act. It has won a few awards in competitions whereby we came out with antimicrobial fabrics. So despite several washes, the nanoparticles was actually embedded onto the fabrics. Okay, we have tried it with clothes or fabrics for the small kids for a start. But we are also looking at incorporating this silver nanoparticles with antimicrobial properties into like bedspreads, towels, or some other because it can be later on used in hospital beddings, okay? Because it will have a fabric which actually has its own antimicrobial properties. And the antimicrobial properties, it is actually obtained from agricultural waste. It's safe for the environment as well. Okay, so we have looked at it is known as the Phytogerm X because it is an antimicrobial fabric, or it is also known as the germ buster. Okay, it's a fabric which has contained antimicrobial properties. Okay, besides that, we also have silver nanoparticles that is generated from chickpea husk or onion peels or pineapple peels, which are used for active packaging materials. Okay, it can also have a mix of fruit peels or individual fruit peels. We are actually researching on that. The one that we have got good results are individual peels that we have collected. And we are able to come out with silver nanoparticles, and the moment we actually incorporate them with the biopolymers, which are produced from the bacterial biopolymer. Once it has been incorporated, it automatically actually increases the shelf life of food, okay, as a packaging material. So it becomes a thin packaging material which actually has an antimicrobial properties. So the moment we actually cover our food, it can be either vegetables, fruits, raw vegetables and fruits, or it can be cooked food. It actually increases the shelf life of raw food, and as well as it protects the cooked food from getting spoiled in a very short span of time. So sometimes we have to deliver the food from one place to another. This actually extends the food from getting spoiled. Okay, it can last for a longer period of time just by using the packaging material, or just by wrapping the food with packaging material, which actually contains silver nanoparticles, which are actually which contains antimicrobial properties, and those are actually generated from agro-industrial waste. Now we are also looking at active packaging. Active packaging material are packaging material whereby it will have its antimicrobial properties, but it will only release the antimicrobial properties only when it comes in contact with microbes. So when when the packaging material will react according to the pH, according to the acidicity, or according to the moisture content, it reacts. That is known as active packaging material. But this is still under research. We're still working on it, but there are active packaging material available. Okay. Probably not from agro waste, but they are active packaging material that are available. Okay, besides those that has been researched in lab, we also have commercially available products from agro waste. This is from multiple baggage derived products. You have all kinds of packaging material. You have biodegradable, nowadays you have biodegradable plastics, biodegradable tableware, okay, which is made up from sugarcane baggers. It's all from waste of agricultural waste or agro-industry waste. So we have a lot of bottles here, packaging materials, tablewares, which are cutleries, which are actually biodegradable or made up of agro waste as well. And besides that, these are some of the well-known brands. Okay, if you have come across like straws, right, from paper straws. Now you also have wheat straws. Okay, they are actually made up of wheat stems. So those are exactly from wheat stems. Okay, those wheat stems are actually I guess it is like polished, or I don't know what they have done, but it is very smooth. I came across this straw. It's very smooth, and it looks like a small piece of. It's more like a wood kind of feeling. Okay, when you touch them, and it is actually, I would say, a very good replacement of straws as compared to paper straws, because paper straws, after sometimes it becomes wet and soggy, right? But this is steady for a longer period of time. Okay, so this would be a very good option. These are wheat stems when it is actually a waste from the wheat. Okay, this is also another company, Paperwise, which actually uses environmental friendly, which converts agricultural waste in order to produce environmental friendly products. And we also have these brands, okay, these are brands which are actually going for all packaging, biodegradable packaging material made from agricultural waste. So there are many companies these days, many industries are looking at, they are changing their mindset. There is a shift in mindset where they are actually looking at sustainable ecosystem. That means they are going into sustainability. They're understanding the sustainability even without having to have regulations, policies in place, which they are in a way they are shifting their mindset to go for everything which is from environmental friendly, which is good. They are socially responsible to move on to environmentally friendly products. And most of the time, it is of conversion of a waste into a friendly value-added product. If you have more and more companies like this supporting, and more consumers are supporting, of course, there will be more production. There will be more attempts on this kind of product being produced. Okay. Now, in your opinion, okay, we have come across all this, okay, what other products can be generated from agro waste? We have seen lots and lots of products, okay. This came to me as a surprise because these are NUS researchers who actually upcycle pineapple leaves into low-cost fat trappers. That means they have used the pineapple leaf to form a kind of, I would say like a fat burner. It's from agro waste and it actually helps you to lose weight. So all this while we have looked at materials, okay? We have looked at materials, we looked at enzymes, we looked at acids. Now what is interesting here is that the waste has been converted something which is edible, which can actually help us lose weight. So we are using a waste which is normally discarded as something which is unwanted. Now we will all be looking, or there are many potentials for this because many people are actually these days are looking for ways to lose their weight. And of course, this is from plant material. It's of a waste of agricultural waste from pineapple. So it is, in a way, it is less harmful, less toxic. So once this is commercialized, I guess this will get a lot of attention. This will get a lot of demand from people as well, okay? And this came to me as a surprise as well. Okay, another thing, okay. I don't know how many of you have heard of cultured meat. Okay, now, this cultured meat is different from a vegan or vegan-based meat. It means they are meat which is made up of plant-based meat, right? This is actually animal-based. Okay, now that's a meat. Okay, it's animal-based, but it's not plants. It is not of sometimes those vegan meats are made of plant-based like soy, nuts, right? But this is nothing like that. It is still a meat, but it is cultured in the laboratory. So in order to culture this, okay, we use 3D. It is known as 3D printing cultured meat. They culture the meat and they also do a 3D printing to come out with, if you can see here, it is a petri dish holding on to meat. It is cultured in the lab. Okay, this is still in a research. The one that is using cultured meat, okay, the cultured meat using agro waste is still in the research scale. Okay, so there are many companies these days which are actually taking up this cultured meat. But of course, there is also the mindset of the people. Many people are actually finding it unacceptable to have meat which is cultured in the lab. Okay, but a few years down the road, you can see this coming into reality. You can see more and more cultured meat being commercially available. Okay, so I don't know this cultured meat is under which category. Of course, there will be a lot of people, consumer acceptance, and they will also have a lot of people who would be opposing it. But these are things that the research gap that people can actually look at to research on. Okay. So, in conclusion, bioeconomy is actually the production of the production, use, and conversion of biological resources. Okay, you are actually using biological resources. That means here we are actually looking at something that people are not looking at. Okay, this bioeconomy, we're actually looking at conservation of biological resources, technology, and innovation to provide products, processes, and services to all economic sectors. Okay, that is bioeconomy. Okay, bioeconomy drives both sustainable development and circularity. So the basic principle of a circular economy is reuse, repair, and recycle. Okay, and that is actually the base of all the sustainable development goals. The fundamental of bioeconomy is being circular. That means it's on the basis of everything that has been of a waste, something that is regarded as waste has to be reused back, recycled back. Okay, we make everything that is considered as a waste into something which is useful. Try to generate income out of it. Okay, so I'm sure many of you by now, I hope any of you are interested to explore more on agro waste. And those of you who wants to actually do more research on this, feel free to contact me. And the research that I've shared just now is actually a collaboration with UMT, University of Science Malaysia, National University of Singapore, as well as University of Bologna in Italy. So feel free to join me, send me an email. Okay, and we can always collaborate on this. So that's all from me. Thank you.